I've watched a lot of videos in my life and read a lot of forums and lots of people's views and stuff on Linux. But never before have I ever done a video on something just out of the blue from someone. And so, yeah, really good to discuss on over, which will be a really good discussion on where Linux users think that Linux is going right now. On YouTube, for instance, yesterday I saw a video. I will bring it on up now, actually, if I bring this on up. We just go in there. This is what I wrote back. This was a market share. Comments on Linux market share is going down. I'm pleased about market share going down on Linux. I am pleased. That's what I put there. I'm pleased that it ain't going up. I just don't want the whole world on Linux. I had 4 likes on that and I had 2 replies. I had 2 replies all together. Let me just see the other one. Oh, wow. Probably sarcasm, but I'll bite. And then we got Johan. He wrote on him, me neither. I think it's a good thing if Linux is on the decline. Less attention from hackers and malware developers. Exactly. Okay, so we got the server space, right? We got the server space. That will always be attacked. No matter what OS you are running to as a server, it will always get attacked. Whether it's Windows, Linux, even Mac. If you're using your Mac as a server space, which I don't think you can, but you might be able to do something with it to... I don't know if it ever has been or not. It probably has, actually. You can probably make a server out of any living operating system, actually. But, yeah. So, there was that yesterday. So that was a pretty good video. I highly suggest I'll leave the link to this video down below if you want to go off and watch it. It's pretty good. It had brought up a lot of discussion. Anyway, what I'm on about, gaming on Linux. Yeah, it was on here, and it was the Pillars of Eternity, which they're going to make turn-based, basically taking turns in battles and what have you, yeah, on every character. So it's turn-based type thing, and they're putting it on in there. Anyway, so further on up, there was the makers, isn't Obsidian owned by Microsoft? ? I don't think Microsoft hates Linux as much as some people believe. And then somebody answered him back. Eggroll answered him back and said Microsoft isn't dumb. Between the rise of Proton and the fall of Windows 10/11, hence why people are moving on over, is actually Windows 11. Windows 10 I didn't mind. I didn't mind Windows 10 at all, even though I moaned the hell out of it because of the telemetry on it. But Windows 11 is even worse with telemetry and stuff and all this other bloatware that they're putting on into it. And instead of concentrating on 24H2 or whatever it's called, they're now going on over to 25H2. So it's like, why can't they get 24H2 fixed first? Because a lot of people, their screens are blanking or going blue screen of death with 24H2 of Windows 11. So anyway, there are a lot of people that have Linux on their radar now. I know a lot of the Linux proselytizing, which means this. And if you listen, you'll hear it. Because I'm going to play it as well. Have a listen.
Proselytizing.
Yeah, the action of attempting to convert someone from one religion, belief, or opinion to another. No amount of proselytizing was going to change their minds. It's a really good word. I've never heard of it before, hence why I got the dictionary up. Come back to here. Proselytizing users are happy about the possibility of the year of the Linux desktop, but I fear we are going to see a decline over the coming decades. I think we're already on a decline already. After that video that I saw yesterday, it's on a decline now, which is really good. I'm glad it's not going on up. I mean, yeah, in my way of thinking, it would be nice to get up to maybe 10% because then proprietary hardware stuff like, say, what I've got here, for instance, my DLZ Creator, desktop mixer that I'm going through with my microphone. I've got to come on out there with a couple of stereo leads to go on into my Focusrite, then out on my Focusrite into my computer, in the way for me to be able to control that. If, of course, they made drivers for Linux for it, I'll be able to just reuse it straight away. Just plug it straight on in to my computer. So, but there's so many different ways on that mixer to record stuff. You can even record your voice going on to an external drive, like a USB stick or something. So there's so many different ways, possibilities of actually recording on there. But yeah, that's what because we all know if we get up to something like it's either 5% or 10%. If we got up to 10% on the Linux desktop, then proprietary systems, as in hardware stuff, will start listening and make drivers for us as well as, yeah. So what did we get to? Microsoft and Google and others already have their hooks into Linux. So Linus is getting older every day. Yeah, that's true. Eventually, I don't think it is hard to imagine Linux being basically corporate run, if it ever got to that. But then again, Red Hat is kind of corporate run. You have to pay for Red Hat, but a lot of the drivers and a lot of the stuff in the kernel and a lot of other stuff and that actually does get is from Red Hat, a lot of that sort of stuff. So in a way, Linux is already corporate anyway, not to the point where it's spying on people and doing all sorts of other malicious sort of stuff. But with Red Hat, of course, a Red Hat Enterprise edition, because it's meant to be for businesses, you have to pay for that. You have to pay for that. And they get a majority of the drivers that we have and that they pass on to the likes of Ubuntu and what have you. With all the new users that will be asking to make things easier, aka more like Windows, making up a larger part of the user base, they will more and more get their way. There are already people that complain about things like CLI versus GUI. Yeah. Well, to explain Linux to you, right? Any newbies on it out there who are all normies or newbies coming on over to Linux from Windows, you can actually make your own Linux operating system if you really, really wanted to. All you've got to do is just have a bit of knowledge about kernels and stuff and putting it all together, basically. Yeah, it'll take you a few years, especially if you're not a programmer at all. But if you've got one of those brains where you can just pick things up just like that, then go ahead, make your own operating system, make your own, because all Linux is just a kernel with all the software built around it. That's all it is. So everything that you see on screen, that's all built around it. Or you can just have it as a CLI, as in just a terminal. And you can have the likes of Google or Chrome coming on up inside your terminal. Yes. Indeed do. Let's read that line again anyway. With all the new users that will be asking to make things easier, aka more like Windows, making up a larger and larger part of the user base, so they will more and more get their way. There are already people that complain about things like CLI versus GUI. Because they aren't used to the former. Yeah, okay. I really like the normies. I really feel like the normies. I don't know where I got that. I really feel like the normies are going to show up and basically force their wishes on the pre-existing Linux community, since most devs will do what the majority asks them to do. I hope I am wrong, but I can easily see the enshittification of Linux happening as more and more Windows users ship, while demanding that Linux be more user-friendly without ever attempting to learn the new Linux way. Yeah, unfortunately, that's one of the nightmares. That's one of the great things about why we haven't got such a big user base here in Linux is the fact that you get normies coming on over and they don't want to learn. They don't want to learn how to use Linux. They don't want to learn at all. They just want something to work for them straight on out the bag because that's the way that they used to. So that everything is there for them already, saves them having to go on into the terminal. My argument to that is, if you are using Windows 11 or even Windows 10, and when you first install and you don't want to actually sign on in to Windows using your email account, then there is a way, of course, of bypassing that by switching off your internet with a terminal command or what's it called? OpenShell command or whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of it. I'll put the name of it up on there in a minute. 1, 2, 3 up on there now. Whatever that is. Anyway, yeah. So there is a terminal command, and yet people are scared of using the terminal when they come on over to Linux. Who the hell put that scaremongering into people? If you don't know any commands anyway, you're not going to break your system, are you? If you don't know any commands, you're not, you can put whatever in and it's going to say, well, no, I don't understand that because it isn't a proper command. It isn't a proper sudo command or whatever command you ask it to do and whatever Linux that you're in. Because you could be in a completely different package manager altogether. Oh, God. Anyway, yeah. So I'm glad it's on the decline. I'm glad that it's on the decline because I was kind of worried as well that we would get a load of people coming on over to Linux land. But yeah, so I thought I could just point this on out. I hope they don't mind on over there. I doubt if they do because if you're into gaming on Linux, come on over to Gaming on Linux. I'll leave the link to Gaming on Linux down below as well. Come on over and have a read up of all the articles and what have you and what Proton are doing because this is a great way of you actually seeing what games are out there. Come on over to Gaming on Linux. He has got loads and loads of gaming stuff on out there. Loads of reviews that he's done and other news as well. Gaming news in general on Linux. It's absolutely fantastic. This site's been going for years and years now. It's really, really good. Anyway, I just thought I'd do a video on that. So leave your comments down below and tell me what you actually think yourselves. Because it is a strange one. It is really weird, isn't it? That all of a sudden, now that Microsoft is slowly breaking their Windows 11, and it's just full up with bloat, and I don't like it. I mean, Windows 10 was full up with bloat, but not as much as what Windows 11 is now. Windows 11 is absolutely bloated on out with stuff that people just will not use. And they know that a majority of people aren't savvy enough to go and hit the uninstall or change any options inside that operating system, inside of Windows itself. They know that people aren't savvy enough because all they see is that you switch on your computer and then do whatever you want on there. That's the problem. Not a lot of people are computer savvy because they rely so much on their mobile phones. And I'm surprised, actually, with that video, that Android wasn't up on there. So a lot of people use Android or their iPhones for work or for an everyday operating system now. They have got other up on that site, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, so leave your comments down below. It would be interesting read to see what your take would be on it. Any existing Linux users on out there. Me, I'm just happy with what I'm using. Linux Mint is fine for me for every day. I finally took those 2 computers on up the road and matey's building them for me right now. So on return, I'll be able to get my missus's computer going. She's unfortunately going to have Windows 11, though I have made a Windows 11 ISO for her, which has taken all the telemetry away and makes it so much quicker for her to be able to log on in as well. What else? Yeah, so I got those two computers. So the new computer, of course, is going to be my video rendering computer. So that's going to be going on over there, which you can't see because I haven't got my camera on at the moment. Haven't got it set up. My new tables are here as well. I don't know if I mentioned that in a past video. I've got my new tables now. 2 fold up, heavy duty. You could stand an elephant on it, or 16 elephants, and they won't collapse. They're really heavy duty picnic tables, and they just do the job. They really, really do. It's kind of a thing that you would have, I don't know, in a classroom or something. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Or even on a picnic, you would have them, because they are picnic tables. But they, you could, with this, you can use them as pasting tables if you wanted to, if you were like redecorating your house, or wherever you live. Ooh, that sounded bad. I don't know if that picked it up or not. Probably did, actually. What was I saying? Yeah, so I've got these tables already set up. I will be doing a video on that in the future. I've got so much to do. I've knocked a day off of work as well, starting next month, which is fantastic. Oh, a night of work I've knocked off, so I'm no longer working Thursdays. Yay! So that's fantastic. I no longer work Thursdays at all. So I've now gone down to, a total of 5 days now I've gone down to. Yay! Fantastic. Anyway, lots of things I've got in the pipeline as well. I'll do another video on that. Thank you very much for watching. That is it from me. Bye. For now.